Find it out. Okay. And then they said to mute this, right? Yep. We don't get any feedback. Okay.
No, looking up Chinese door.
So are you gonna start it so that to show so we know what's showing? Okay. There we are. Record time.
System.
I figured it out this week.
Breathing in sound. Hopefully.
Have to get a good first day of school, so who thinks he'll go back to
Getting used to it.
Yes.
Well, I got 6 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. Laura, you do a roll call, please.
Traina. Here. Jarzell. Here. Cook.
Here.
Cameron. Here. And Loomis.
Here, please silence all cell phones. We'll do a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This has got a big leg time.
Okay, everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Is there any questions?
I've got something, I'd like to make a motion to remove section 1411 from the ordinance amendment from the action items. It does not need a vote on it, it's purely informational.
You want to take it off the action items?
Yeah, just the
Okay,
action items.
Okay. I'll make a motion. Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I have some concerns. There were 3 items that our zoning administrator had sent to us, needing our attention, and they were not put on the agenda. And I do understand, I was told that,
They're just under the zoning administrator.
well, I don't know, because they would be voting items if we have to.
That is,
Regarding the tri-county aggregate, I'm concerned that if we don't get these items approved that the zoning administrator is looking for, she can't move forward with the permit. At this point, she has a few things that she
Well, we
needs.
can schedule another meeting. I know Heidi Hudson, the attorney's gonna be here. I didn't know how long that was gonna take. I figured an hour, so we had to make some adjustments.
What if we would add it to the end, and if we have time, we can cover it tonight, but if we don't have time, then we could schedule another meeting?
Yeah, let's just schedule another meeting.
Well, we all had the information 5 days in advance, so we should have been able to review
I
it,
realize,
and we should be able to get it done in a timely fashion. I think this is a timely issue that,
And some of the things on here are not gonna take very long, the ones that we've got scheduled.
well, I figured an hour for this stuff and an hour with Heidi, so.
well, I'm just saying, I don't know if we're doing Mr. Gilling
No, I
due
don't.
diligence if we don't get the things that need to be done moved.
Well, we'll schedule another meeting for,
Well, why can't we try to
21st.
do it today and then schedule another meeting if we can't get to it?
I don't wanna go over 2 hours.
That's fine. If we get to that point,
Okay.
then we won't do that.
Well, we'll
It's just a
discuss it at that
suggestion.
time.
so do you just want to move the zoning administrator's report down lower, like after old business or something?
Well, I guess as long as we can add it as a voting item, because it's something that you need voted on.
I actually have 4 things that I was gonna ask you to vote on. Do you want to just add them as potential action? I don't know how you want to proceed. Sorry,
I just can keep with the agenda. If we have to schedule another meeting, we'll schedule another meeting.
So we're gonna put it off another week or 2 weeks before.
No, we'll do the let me see, the 21st.
I can't make it the 21st.
Can you meet the 20th? Or how about 22nd?
Out of work again. We're short staffed at the library. So we already have a CBOA hearing up.
So
How about 22nd?
That's Friday.
I'm not, no,
Okay, how about the 25th?
no, well, maybe, I might.
I
be able
can
to
meet in the
make that.
morning too. I mean, if that's a problem.
Well, others have jobs as well.
Well, I think you're off Monday and I know Luann.
I'm working the 25th. I'm
Okay.
covering for someone for vacation.
Okay.
So I was just saying, if we did have time today, we could get it taken care of today.
Well,
It would be nice to try to get them all done today. Maybe it's not gonna take as long as we think.
I mean, everybody had
Time
time
closed session.
to review the information. We've got it for 5 days, so we should be up on it.
well, we'll see.
So,
Any other thing?
so you're making a motion to add potentially 4 action items?
If time allows, I make a motion. If time allows, we'll add the 4 action items necessary for our zoning administrator to move forward.
Thank you.
Support.
Okay, what time are we looking at? 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
If we can get this meeting going, then
Yeah.
if we can get
Yes.
done before 8 and we have time, then.
Well, I'd like to be done before 8, so,
I agree.
Okay, that's fine.
okay. There's been a motion to take out section 14.11 and the action items. And if we can get to it, I want to be done at 8 o'clock. If we can get to it, we will do the TCA.
So I have the Tri-County aggregate update to bring to you, but I also have an update after speaking with the environmental health director on section 14.15. That was the direction that the board told me to take last. So I'm bringing what I learned back to you.
Okay,
So what are we doing?
We're adding that to the end if time
Yeah,
allows.
but we will be done at 8 o'clock.
If time allows, yes, so
Okay.
Probably never been done, we talked before.
I don't know.
it was a
No, but
suggestion.
No, the MTA said this, Laura, Catherine Mulder.
Love it.
Well, let's vote on this so we can get moving.
Okay, I made the motion.
Which-
Did a second?
Yeah, I made a motion. She seconded.
A
Second,
second down there?
Yep.
Okay, there's been a motion, been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Minutes of the last meeting, July 21st.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented from July 21st, 2025.
Second. It's been a motion to accept the minutes for July 21st, 2025, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, next thing we got is the treasurer's report and paying the bill.
I make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Support.
There's been a motion to pay the bills as presented, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Not, Laura, we need a roll call, please.
Hyman,
Yes,
Jarzel,
Yes,
Cook,
Yes.
Ham, yes, Loomis.
Yes. Motion passed. Public comment. Go ahead, Emery.
Henry Close. 7649 Osborne. I was at the planning commission last Monday night on the 11th. And I walked in as normally, you guys see me do sitting right here. And there was a discussion going on about the Dudley short-term rental, this complaint on the short-term rental. There's a complaint on it right now. And the board was sitting here at 13 minutes to discussing what they're gonna do with it. That's a clear violation of the Open Meeting Act. You guys need to review this, and you need to do something with it. Because we're not getting any better if we just let things keep rolling. So I wish you guys would review that and take action.
So you say it's a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Yes, sir.
I think the state police investigates that, I believe.
Okay. Just want to bring it to your attention because you guys are the enforcement board and you can do something with what's going on.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Steve?
My name is Steve Lay, 7600 Osborne Drive. I too wanted to mention, what I seen last week was rather appalling. And it wasn't just beginning of the meeting, it was, at the end of the meeting too. And it continued. And, that we've seen this before. In fact, many of the decisions, that the planning commission has made recently even, have resulted in numerous appeals. And several lawsuits at this point, and more probably pending. Signing documents last 10 months, we watched them try to recant something that they did. They signed some very important documents that have been being litigated for over 4 years. There's several lawsuits on it. And that planning commission signed those documents with numerous items in there that were recommended by the MTA, as well as the township's own attorneys, our taxpayers' attorneys. And those guys, the planning commission, not guys, the planning commission fought and spent our money for 10 months to have it taken out, even though it was highly recommended. I don't understand that. I can't get behind. I think they're supposed to serve in the best interest of the public, not in the best interest of someone's ego. And that's totally what that was all about. It was foolish, totally childish and foolish. Just another example of what they've done. Then here recently, they claim to have a request for a SLUP from a SLUP owner requesting to have his permit reviewed when that never was produced. A special hearing was called, publications were printed. Things happen and it got dropped because it never got produced because it seems like it was requested. We all saw that. Another violation. Another one, having violated the Open Meeting Act here just last week, like we talked about, it's so blatant, so recorded, so ugly, so embarrassing for our township. Sadly, that's like the first thing you learn, that you do not violate the Open Meeting Act. And then they violated several other times the Open Meetings Act, where they came in together and spoke at ZBA meetings and identified themselves as speaking as planning commission board members, even though that's too is a violation of the Open Meeting Act. And then last Monday is so embarrassing, as I mentioned. And I could go on. I think I've done enough browbeating. I just would really wish you wouldn't pass it down the line, pass it on to somebody else. You appointed these people to this board to vote on. We all waited 10 extra months for that to happen. They were serving capacity and voting on amendments that they weren't even re-upped for. And that was all on you, not the state police, Robert. And the last thing I will say is I will not even get into the conflicts of interest, because there's a whole lot more than you're talking about out here, and you know it. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Mr. Worth.
So do I need to identify myself since you already addressed me as Mr. Worth? Worth. A couple months ago, at a meeting, it was brought up how one of the board members hired an attorney without board permission and spent township money without board approval. Last month, when I was watching, I see that the police committee decided to spend money without township board approval. Now, committees are supposed to bring things to the board. You've got a fire committee, you've got the police committee, you got building and grounds committee. These committees are not supposed to make financial decisions without board approval. And we have a board member that's 3 months shy of 17 years of seniority, and you know better. You know better. You should follow your policies when you want everybody else to follow the policies, but you guys don't even lead with following your policies. Because in that police contract, unless it's really, really changed, I think you're going to find that nowhere in the contract that the township has with the sheriff department states that anybody other than the supervisor can contact the sheriff or his designee. It's not up to a police committee to contact. That's violating the contract. And when there's no coverage, the sheriff is supposed to contact, or designee is supposed to contact the supervisor and say, hey, we've got a problem here. We're not going to be able to cover police coverage. Is that happening? Why are we violating our own contracts and ignoring policy? Why do you guys do that? You guys have spoke for months about getting better. Why not? Why not follow your own policies? Let your hatred take a back seat to what's supposed to be done correctly. Please do it correctly. And I will just reiterate what Mr. Close and Mr. Lay had said about the meeting last Monday. I was watching it. Holy cow. You guys made a decision before the meeting was even called.
I wasn't
order.
present.
What?
Not before. I wasn't at that.
I'll look on YouTube video. You're sitting right there talking with the person right there. Yeah, watch it. You'll see that you were directly involved with that, Luann. You guys have got to get better. Quit burying yourself, you guys. Because when something goes sideways, there's a clique that gets together in the litter box and buries the pile. Get better.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else, public comment? Okay. New business, Millington Community Schools Superintendent Steve Bovee.
Hi, everybody.
Steve,
In case we haven't met, my name is Steve Bobay. I'm superintendent of Millington Community Schools, and I did want to give you an update on our 2019 sinking fund. I'm going to try to revert back to the days of when I was a teacher and hand these out while I'm talking. And I really do value your time. So thank you for letting me speak. We did pass a sinking fund back in 2019, and what the Millington Board of Education is doing, thank you, is we're having a campaign called Promises Made, Promises Kept. So even though I wasn't a superintendent and many of our board members were not on the board back in 2019, I feel like a lot of times in this business, what we're actually doing is we're fulfilling the promises of people that came before us. So back in 2019, I know they sent a mailing out to the entire community and they promised certain things. So when I became superintendent, we started knocking down more of the projects in a row. I went ahead and I got the mailing from 2019 and we made a list and we're actually checking off all the projects that we are completing just to make sure that Millington Community Schools is being good stewards of your tax dollars. So I do appreciate your support in the past. And I did want to go through and just talk a little bit also about the strategic planning process because we're actually in our third year of the strategic plan right now. And in the spring, we're actually going to renew the strategic plan and we're going to go out for another 3-year span. So in the spring, I'm going to be sending some emails out looking for volunteers who will sit on committees. And what we're basically going to do is be deciding what the future of our district is going to look like, just like we did back in 2019 when we ended up having the sinking fund. So I'd like as much input as possible from everybody, but I'm here today though to thank you for passing that sinking fund. And also I want to go through and just show you what the district has done, you know, as being stewards of your money. So when you look at this document, you can look through this, but this actually has more projects than just the sinking fund. When we ended up coming up with the strategic plan, we ended up having a committee who ended up steering the different initiatives across the district. Another thing that we did is we ended up having a consultant come in and do a walkthrough of the entire district to see if there's different projects we could do to make the district more safe for the staff and the students. Right now, I know it looks like the school grounds are tore up because we're actually building a front office, but that was one of the biggest recommendations of the person who ended up doing the consulting. As far as that project though, not all of that project comes off the general fund. We've actually received this 31 AA money from the state. And over half of the dollars going towards the front office are actually funded by some grants that we end up getting from the state. So it's not all falling on the general fund. As far as the projects though that we have been working on, I know one of the first projects back in 2020 is number 1 up here. We remodeled the entire Meacham building. And that was during COVID and that was very, very stressful. But now that building's been running for 5 years and that Meacham building used to be the high school, then the junior high. Now that's our K-5 building and it's very, very nice. We've actually ended up trying to lower class sizes and we've even built a couple classrooms over the past couple summers. But our class sizes in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, when they're learning to read, are actually under 20 right now. So, you know, if it wasn't for moving to that building and having some extra space to make the classrooms, we wouldn't be able to do that. So thank you for voting back in 2019. We also built outdoor learning spaces. So having to move the elementary school over there, we did have to move all the playground equipment over. And we also built like a little outdoor learning space by the Kirk building. And we also ended up building a little outdoor learning space for the kindergartners to go in. And that's all been, you know, as a result of the 2019 sinking fund. We also improved Dean Drive. So we ended up paving that. And that was a major accomplishment. We also moved district office to Kirk. So that's number 4. My office is down in Kirk. I do like being between the buildings so I can walk to both places. And being centrally located is good. Next one is new bleachers at Millington Junior Senior High School. We did those during COVID too, back in 2020. So if you haven't been in our gym for a while and you all of a sudden went in there and saw the bleachers, they're very, very nice. So thank you for voting on the sinking fund. Without, you know, that support from the community, we would not have been able to do that. New casework and lighting. We've also ended up putting LED lights across the district. And we've also got new cabinetry with the sinking fund money, especially when we were remodeling the Meacham building. We also have a new parking lot at Meacham. So the parking lot there is already 5 years old. And just over the weekend, we did reseal it just to make sure, you know, that we're prolonging the life of that. Our investment as long as possible. resurfacing the track and field facilities. At one point in time, we had not had a track meet in almost 20 years. And when they resurfaced the track, we have had even we've had even league meets for like the TVC and with junior high meets with our new league. And when people come to our facilities, they just rave at how nice it is. So I think without you guys passing the sinking fund, we wouldn't be able to draw these people in. And every time we have a big event, one thing we're really proud of is we always hear from the local businesses where people will go out to eat and they'll shop and go to Subway and fill their tanks up with gas. So, some of this stuff works both ways. So the bigger the gathering we can have, it supports the community too. We also updated the camera systems in all buildings. That's number 9. We also updated educational technology across the district. We also tore down the Kirk 2-story building. So that's probably one of the most prominent things. So I'm very proud to report that we did that. We started that last fall and they just did the final fire inspection and we're all set. That's what I'm really happy for because when I first became superintendent, I'd be in like Dollar General and people would be like, are you going to tear that 2-story down and keep your promise or not? Well, we did keep the promise. So now nobody asks me that anymore. That was probably one of the most visible things that you could see that we had on that list. So thank you for voting on that sinking fund, or we wouldn't be able to do that. There was some asbestos in that part of the building too. So we did have somebody come in and do all of the asbestos abatement. And also when we did the Meacham building. So I don't believe there's any asbestos in the district anymore. That was one of the last places where they had it. Also update security at all school entrances. And in the sinking fund, we didn't initially say that we were going to build a high school front office. It was actually the addition of the grant money to where we could actually do it. But they did update the security at the offices. And if you've ever been in the high school, a lot of times what would happen is the secretaries would buzz you in and you would walk into the building and the office is in the middle and we hoped you went to the office. There was actually no guarantee that you ever did it. So there were times where people get in there, wander around the building. Now in all 3 of our buildings, there's actually a little holding area where when you buzz in, we keep you in that holding area. And if you have a meeting or you're going to volunteer in a classroom, you get to gain access to the building. If you are not supposed to be there, you do not gain access to the building. So if somebody's just going to drop off their kids' lunch, something like that, they're not getting into the building, unless they have a good reason to be there. So I think that'll actually cut down a lot of traffic inside the building. And that's really good for school safety. So, with doing this current project, I know sometimes it seems like the place is upside down, but future generations of staff and students will have a safer learning environment because of the projects we're doing right now. And if it wasn't for that sinking fund to take the strain off the general budget, we wouldn't be able to do all this stuff. So thank you. Also pave the junior senior high school parking lot. We're going to do that either next summer or the summer after. We're letting that sinking fund build up again. Pave the Kirk parking lot. We're going to do that the same year. Some of this timing is how much we bring into the sinking fund over the next couple of years, but when we build that up again to pave all the parking lots, we will. We're also going to pave the bus lanes. So that's another project we're going to do. We also did the Dean Drive lighting. So when you guys drive in across Dean Drive, where they always decorate the fence for the football team. Well, that never had lighting before, and now it does. They did that 2 falls ago. So thank you for passing the sinking fund. They also updated the lighting in the Meacham parking lot. So that one's done. One thing they're going to do is they're still going to update the parking in the junior senior high school parking lot. Right now, all of the light posts are in the middle. They're going to move them to the outside so that all shines to the center. And they're also going to do the Kirk school parking lot lighting. So by the time everything is said and done, I want to go ahead and just make sure that we check off every single box. It's very important to me, even though they're not the promises that I made, they're the promises I'm going to keep. Seems like that's how life works. And then when we end up doing another strategic plan in the spring, we're planning out the next 3 years. And there may be a situation where the district does try to renew the sinking fund. In that situation, if we ever did come back to you, asking you to, pass some type of initiative, I want you to realize that it's very important to us to keep our promises. And I don't know if I'll be around forever. If I'll be around, like in 2040, by the time that one's done, then it'll be up to somebody else to keep the promises that we made. So, I did want to just get a chance to present to you and thank you. I'm here to thank you. I know sometimes when you thought I wanted to be on the agenda that maybe I was going to ask for money. Not doing that. I'm saying thank you. And in the spring, when we do the strategic plan, I'm going to be sending out some invitations. I can even send it to you guys if you want to share it at some of your meetings. And we're going to come up with committees, and then we're going to go ahead and just kind of steer the direction of the district in the future. So, does anybody have any questions?
I got a comment, Steve.
Okay.
Last month we had a tire drive. I just want to thank you and the football team. They've done a tremendous job. And they worked their butt off and we appreciate it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it when you guys ask for help too, because the players really like that. That's built some character and even from my son go through the program and all the other kids, that's really good. So thank you for those opportunities.
Yep, no
Your
problem.
staff and your football team were instrumental in getting the festival all cleaned up too, so we appreciate that as well.
Thanks. That's good for them too. I know they don't want to go up there at 8 in, but once they're done, they're happy and they're all sweaty, but they're happy. So.
To the rest of us.
Very appreciated.
Keep doing your good job.
For everything. Appreciate it. I know you're trying to put the info. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, the next thing for new business is Sir Heating and Cooling Annual Maintenance Agreement. We had a 2-year maintenance agreement and that 2 years is up. We need to renew it if the board wants. I don't know, Jackie put in here what all they covered. I asked her to.
Yeah.
There's the options on the side of the sheet, under number 2. 2.
That too.
That 2.
Okay, but something to look at. I know we've had it for 2 years. They come in the spring and they come in the fall and check things of the furnace out in the fall and the air conditioner out in the spring.
Do they also do the generators?
No, that's done through another company. Yeah, so,
So is that?
what they're doing?
yeah, they seem to do a good job and we call them up if we have a problem, they're right there. And I think they do a good job.
Is that the one we're working with them for plus years?
Yeah. Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah, you get a discounted rate, well, $30 if you do it for 2 years. So. Any questions on that? Okay, we're on to number 3, closed session. I want to make a motion to go into closed session under section 15.268 of the Open Meetings Act to consult with our attorney regarding settlement strategy in connection with a claim asserted by Demi Denzer against the township. There's been a motion, it has been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed. Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Which I'm.
Oh, yeah, that was mine.
You're right.
That was yours? I'm sorry. She had hers, okay. Sorry about that.
About an hour for this? Well, I would go with the expectations, that's what I planned on.
What's that?
Prior to camera, I mean, sports, stay and everybody's organization was close.
Well, what are they gonna do with all of that? Yeah, the village. Go ahead. Yeah, so the art and just-
So I think I will go. I know it's going to happen.
Hey, Dan, if Ruth Ann was here, I could play Hangman. If Ruth Ann was here, I could play Hangman.
Chip like so.
We've done it.
Those kids, are so good. Thank you.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Hi, so I'm.
Sorry.
All right, say it, so here, I've been hard for. So next time, people. That's all.
I thought you were fantastic.
I don't, I'm sure. It was a struggle at times.
It always is.
I know.
Make a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it's like the township, it's so thankless. Everyone appreciates your efforts and everyone's voices.
Oh, I know. Next Wednesday, it's thing, you know, 18 months me. Yeah, but you don't supposed to healing.
No, it's straight forward. Steam's totally.
Nobody can have truth from each other.
But quite a few.
Yes.
Oh, there's a. Johnson.
Receiving and those.
I knew it shot.
Like tonight, one pertaining to me that my reports were just going to be eliminated. It's like, I didn't. It seems like that prevents the next.
Well, it's like I've seen it on TV.
So or maybe like how time sensitive or something, could we put them off, but. We're gonna have to. Tonight.
There you go.
I know.
It's crazy.
Some of the leaders. I have other towns that watch this meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
He was a good.
Well,
I was gonna say.
big city, all come from here.
Yeah.
They always say, well, why did you go? Why? Like they said, where you want, this bad and all. Maybe. Up here. That's
Okay.
Worthless hands up all of a sudden. But feel obligated
Is it here or there?
If you're.
to fix it all from.
Last week, if you're.
Hopefully we're making progress towards it.
They like your first meeting.
That's pretty much why.
Only time will tell.
I really want to believe that, but every time you think they are, they go the other way.
Oh, man, I didn't see it coming. I tell you, he got involved in a dress coming in. Oh, they're gonna do it. Perfect.
Yeah, we just paved it right over for the farmer.
That was the right time.
Here, before I saw the road.
Oh, yeah, it's a tractor. That's the same,
Oh, yeah.
Like, because of the other good news.
Make some change.
Every day, page 2000 packet on Wednesday night, it was 90 pages.
They actually like.
Like,
What's the same?
I don't either.
Yeah, that was before the days before the scratchers. I call it the master key now, because I'm never locked in.
Usually when nobody's using it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm Pastor John.
Well, it just appeal does not say what,
Pay for the road.
it's just appealing.
So wasn't that I just missed it literally.
Just that saying.
Wager, so.
Oh, so I guess there's like.
Yeah. Maybe it's just record time. Before 10:30, yeah, and by 12. But then school statement, that's not the first year they've been there either. No.
They do it.
It certainly depends on how many other groups show up. Yeah, so we get. But it was. They were good this time.
See, my only question for the story.
I know, feeling that.
My really only question was.
That's so good for the community, though.
Somebody.
You should be glad that we talked to me. I won't be the person. You probably got to.
Should have asked him, like, I was a stranger for you.
And the report that Millington has, all they do it. It's been a nonprofit organization.
You're calling it.
It's community district in Millington.
They really were. That.
Nonprofit organization, and Millington School District, you ought to be there.
No.
We don't have any site of parties,
In charge.
Only one major downstate of Dodger.
I just noticed.
Church groups.
So that.
On my The weeds are from. Can you see that?
I'm 24.
What that?
Yeah.
And then. You should walk down there. And you should go, you know, let people come and see, he said, no. Well. Nah.
You're right.
Columbus, that lights is the dog. So.
He had what about here?
So.
I see, you know,
Thanks, Les.
right now, that much, she's not.
People show up for the months and the festival clean up. Got captured.
But Keller, used to be.
Need an help rule.
Maybe it's big one. But there is a Keller, I don't think there was. You know?
Then you go on that a lot, because we're not even going to this.
You know, I'm not bad in the refrigerator.
You want to like.
And the explosive error.
Well, yeah.
Hey, not them yet, catch you another cave. I should find this one, because straight, I can worry, so I even look there, bring it deep. That's it, because I don't have to lie.
Oh, yeah, that's, they knew me.
Right.
No, I went in there during COVID and everything was just shredded.
Because they just kept putting up my shot. You know, kept putting up this and came up, wait, like, just voted, I made enough weight. You're like, well, yeah, like, so, but it's not gonna. But there's that lead shot, you know, like maybe those 1,000 people, like they're high, and it's ridiculous. Well, it can use love, can use patterns, you know.
Yeah, actually, we all got.
Yeah.
Now we get a little bit, I sure police got involved saying that there were a lot ready and they, because people were searching for those.
Nice to get a bonfire there.
It was so frustrating.
Looks like it has that.
So in our ordinance, don't you?
Oh, well, right?
Yeah, but tonight, you have chance here now. But it's a that's pretty for the answer.
And everybody makes. No.
Great. You have that fast.
As well as to it.
The same place, 3 weeks or whatever that phone call is. It's mine doing like this stuff. Something.
You know, if you really want a lot of stuff, it's fine. These are the. You know, usually you get those weekends where everybody's cooled out. Everybody's having a great old.
I mean, well, I went in there and
Oh,
nobody started,
like, I look so.
take your mask off, no, nope, you all blow in.
Oh, no, so
Can't do this, it's all pretty much out there.
anything, well, I,
Well, I'm.
well, this, and I, except for 20 lots.
They went.
They went down to this
and then I'm just stagger.
So then, so I think, what, you're it. Like you bring out these products, you're not black grams, it's still not. You guys get to have darkness, right? And then, yeah, and I go, oh, that's cool, it's just, it's really, it can be. I go, oh, all right, I go, all right, come this cool. But you can work from every pile. New cars, and that's what these weed people do. I do the weed cooling for them, so it's, and I'm not even. It just let that boy walk, right? So then I found out that these two like. Time it's so long that we're looking with the zone all clear outside. I don't really like going, you're there, all the were that. Why did they wait on me? You know, so like you're didn't work on pressure. And I'm still listening for like the power. Thank you for. What's that? There's no back. You know, even was. I don't know more. So, we put shows like the other one inside of the time. Show right now, doesn't have the, oh, yeah, you know, yeah. And they wanted to put another one, and they're like, oh, you have to do, and 300 feet or something, $300 to 5 acres of land. Go out. You're rich. And you can really see what the neighborhood, you know, and they were like, cool, so we got this and put it from the place, so we'll get it. And then I got busy doing other. I don't know what they said this, but it's for good.
I probably would call.
You call, you share it. Why did they do that?
No, so I just take care of that back.
I heard that. Like me. Yeah, they knew I wasn't really going to starting. I was like, oh, you know, it's bad. I think about that. Because we were getting that chance outside every for it. And chilling. Back in the day, we had to go down to stop. Just kept going.
Now, when I got tired there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we stayed. I did come back. We have friends. There, like back on.
Yeah, it is for that. Well, okay, do it. Touch it. You get that?
I don't know.
You shut your own can of gas.
Yeah.
Oh, see. That is what's. Okay, no. There's seagulls. I paid more than it could be able to do. You do.
Right.
Feel pressure. So surgeons like.
If they didn't, even on Friday.
Well, because out there, it's reality. I'm pretty sure.
With this. Yeah, it starts with. He is.
I think it came down to the fireplace. So, yeah.
That's what I like for me. Fast and you know. It's kind of.
And that.
I try to go.
And,
Well, they don't. I think they'll done pretty good.
watch different races and then they have one section pro racer.
Getting rid of the, you know.
Like that.
The back one, yeah.
I watched them.
My-
Yeah, but back then, that don't years ago.
Some classes had like.
My
17
daughter
cars.
lived in 100-year-old farmhouse.
That's a lot of cars.
And when they have that, all the
And
time.
draws in.
And my son-in-law,
Yeah.
deadly
And
afraid.
they say choir.
He runs and hides under the table.
Yeah, machines, yeah, they're not bad.
And so that's not. But they had never had cleaned up. It had been vacant.
Yeah.
When they bought the
And
house,
after it, home patch.
covered one of.
So.
Yeah,
Next.
That's not a bad thing. No, that's like. Just like a metal. Yeah.
So I just got a text message that all of our comments are on the, all back, they left it on, so they can hear us.
So that'll be not close, have some fun, so let it all, no, it's been that.
There you go, you know.
Man.
I think it was Katie Meeker about it, one of her problems would be getting out of energy.
Well, look, they wanted to more every Oh, I never even heard that.
This. It's not a regular.
So they raise the
Planning commissions,
usually will.
township order the first to be.
What's yours?
I have no idea what they're doing.
Places that gonna be.
One discriminate.
Actually, is. This weekend, oh, yeah, first race, it's really
They
pretty.
have to just have a meeting.
Right.
I think there's 77, and it's a less than, so then that's not on first, and second race on Sunday. Yeah. It's so nice. Oh, and good. And he got, entirely, something, yeah,
I don't remember that part of the open meeting, but
he finished.
what
the
they,
rest of
But he had-
what they have to do and.
Right.
It's the, they put it in. Have a
Okay.
They don't.
Then you.
Yeah.
No.
You're gonna, and you guys, right.
That's just right. That's the part of it. They finished their race, even though it's a
Very bad.
points.
They said a whole lot, they figured they could raise.
That's what I said.
So, yes. And good there.
Second, through those.
Well,
One.
some part of
Please do machine.
that would be a mess.
I can't believe
That would sit here.
I have enough papers for this. Just like when you're trying to.
So I obviously-
Yeah.
Talking.
Yeah.
But they have a great practice. When they grade the tracks, they know they bring up problem. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why I never that Mark, see me, I would be like first like just the regular nuts. Just only maybe a little chocolate I see. When I get around it, so maybe let's try to see faster. You know, you know, exactly. But you know, and if I really, I call it. And not have a piece of it, watch everybody else do
No.
I know what they call, no, but out here. It's called DK's Donuts, it's a really good burger. They
Yeah,
act the
that's
same thing,
Labor. Anybody.
a burger.
Benjamin.
There was this little skinny man in there.
Did you have Sophia there?
Well, good. That was. There was.
My brother's not his. Pretty about, bit older than, oh man. So there's some like, you know what I'm saying? They, kind of funny. But the Saturday for my living. Sure. And I wear that now before. So I mean, the sniper, you know, everybody so important. Don't see the grandma. Said I want to help her. And you know. So it's no, it's midway, you know. Yeah, right. We all know. The box is next to it, you already know. Help her nomination. Yeah. And it's it was him. It was really big. Extra. And all that. I never told her. I was like, like that's what now.
Yeah, right.
I go, that was true. That's me.
You may have like an engineer too, so.
Yeah. Well, it's like it. You know, yes.
Within last year, it was session.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I got. Now that's. My plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's not right. It's hungry and she's, yeah, like.
Looks like you're.
Running sister. One is I will be out of the means for my. We're so clear. I told him I will be. My, it's just one, yeah, the tough, stay down. And watch this. Yeah. So the hills my, yeah, he probably should have started out some bread people. So. So they may have read it all right. She told me. And I never even know about here. And things flat. They do it. Staring up. Everything else. Why don't we? It's fine. It's take. Go. They said like 30 years. So we have to be plan and doing. Grace in Wisconsin, you go to? Sit down like some great. He wasn't five, he was so. Didn't care. Get the return from your record here. That's all they're faulty from you know, that's from me now. If I want to. I'd like to see the printer on that. Over. Well, right. Last year we done found. We didn't come back here, man. And it's really just French, but you would always say, and it doesn't. I want to go usually I have to do it. My wife is here. You go very good, very cold. It's just a real for that. Now, if I was there, that's what's going on. They have call. Right. And worst thing, surveys of being another up. Download again, whatever. No. Yeah, now my top was not. That one, I mean, probably, well, that's why you pull it this further. And sure you'll start. So, you know, pretty much not the video. Should have make it cool. He's not allowed. A big relation. Well, here's the thing. He's a blind guy. This person. You know, it's different. Yeah. Well, but it costs I would argue that's still, you know, what's the mission? Just, I think it's not. Wait. What doesn't need to be a learn. I know. And I wouldn't get this insurance from the bill. We're gonna. I'm going, but then straight. You can see how put that over. Down and try to finish by the classroom. Next time, yeah, no. Cause she and all. I'm trying to be this. So I did over. That's right. He said, it's so one job. And we are over here. Found it. We're here in the great titles that you already. That's.
Oh, me, go golf practice.
Well, they don't. My job. Want to show it out. Right. I don't. But somebody else is
Golf.
be my PR. So it's working. It's like I'm not gonna see started. He goes, I go like to wear in the office. Sure, I'm only as good as my office for like that. I grew up when they did because it's free for everything, you know, that's so, I can it's right. We pointed different trends, you know, my touch and touch would be like, and let's try to but I it all in the way as far as it goes to the company to try to get thing, but I know we can cheat on this. Yeah, that's a lot. You're right. I think a bunch of guys that make wrong to. That's correct. I mean, the problem with going like off that. So we look at that. It's just taught by the springtime was our. What are the money people? Great, so yeah, but need to make. Test it. Yeah. Care people get it built for you. It's like, yeah, now they're trying to. How many screens did you use today? You know, you're not some here's the live coming. So they're like, I look at it. It's funny, I don't really right into go. Hey, schools having a pretty air. It's yeah, picture it up. We have to care. What you go with that stitching? Give her the shoulders. You're trying to get, you ain't bringing them company guys. You just lost us. You're the old crack. You need to respect. You talk about. Stop putting all the numbers. That's what. Oh, you know, sometimes I had to come back, starting to run field. We're gonna ask to get quite a show. Never be all. Or be in high school. And I was to kids. Like, get the very kind. Try to be like to the people that are there and don't sit here. Don't is there any more? No, something with God. So we got to move just sit here. We're so terribly, we cannot break them on the furniture. Rest. Yeah, and then you wouldn't else think that. You gotta. It's not I'm stressed out. That's trying to flip out, and I'm like, isn't it like you don't want me to help, you know, playing that play. Much feel sense good. Here's the first film said, sorry, that's needs to lost culture. Okay, I was like, do we really need to know bringing in one by one or zero place a little? But now I'm not sure. But you know, it's still useful. Bob poured out. You wait until you got anything for your future. And then you're not gonna make that to keep the guys that are there. That's gonna some that show up. It's great. Thanks, great. To choose the fruit and it's fall. That's how I unfortunately down to me. Because she gets like he gave me from work, she goes, what's going on? So, you know, she like, what? I have to do that. This is talking. This was, they basically, JD Down said, you know, not spots or somebody had, sure, I'm going here, like, you know, you for a few minutes, shall we make do it? Just you get up there and look at that, you go like, I'm gonna watch you. And they got, and I mean, I feel like I was right there, not, and it's probably the advantage. Boom. But if you look on the stress, I go, yes. I mean, so that way you can all never like, so it's just great now. He's not, Jim Shaw, yeah, definitely like, yeah. So this stuff, I work out there, I go to the garden, all. Like, oh yeah, you would, and you go, anybody who's been protecting you, kids with this all around. I go for Washington, and so that was the first question of what do you feel about this? She was like, no, well, you turn them down, so I'm part all over it. So we joined, and then hang on. The box, and he said it's not about letting go. Takes one hit the same altitude of his workout. Kids are more on that. The more about something with the family kids. So he says, he goes, that's not this. It was Bob's for the protection. I go, she's like, yeah. I'm sure it's so. I mean, I don't care. So little is in the house that you know, sneak up on me. Why I should really get small. You know, I mean, this is what I train. He starts laughing, and what me with that little squirt. Because they, oh, one would equate you with this. I think for us, you when there's this location, and I'm like, well, yeah. Not so not a good list. So I think today's and I start walking backward, and you fall through shit. I get my sure, which you know, I might have to test this because well, this shoots the solid straight converter.
Right, yes.
So I play with it. I'm like, you know, that's solid straight. You get them, keep standing on the front floor. You get them from the behind. What are you doing with it? Oh, wait, they get them on the front of my like he keeps swimming closer. So I'm like, okay, just let him have. You like this game. And you waited on charity. Girl, he had his base and he was so good one. Well, then you kind of can hop the ground. I mean, I'm like, so this is just getting better. I'm gonna be able to see what he's got for around. You take him down, play with it, see one around. No. He's one way or another, how am I even gonna get it? But then I ran out. No, big boy right now. Like when you're, they had no name, and he comes back. Kind of quick, nothing, interview.
It's really kind of turning into blocks of the air.
But he's, you know, it's always on something bad in mind, but it said, another little junction box up above. Oh, okay, that's good. But I should get like granny on that, it's a big. Well, it's like the word stuff in. It's like shopping. He's like, it's just. It's legal. Yeah, what's it, watch your TV? Yeah, go see your owl. 17, you're all, everything, not pretend. We're not doing that here. We're really, yeah, you know, we're really. Playing all day. Right up, I mean.
Fence.
I'm saying guys for me, they're listen. I'm going. Same for the back. Yeah, you got two instruments. One low of it, I want to just, cause I know one like it's. He goes, well, you spend the same. It's hard.
Like, when you. Break off.
Yeah. You want to.
The wire down.
Well, I mean, it's are, they, so let's take it's for 600 volts, but it's funny. Say. Oh, you got tape, sure.
You know, foreman.
Yo. You're gonna stand yourself, yeah.
To run the situation.
They would be all on the front page pad where.
Well, I see. And you're gonna go to.
But water not good there. Maybe I should use.
Go and. Don't stop touching the ground. What I certainly wanted where it came. The. Sort of very broad and much down.
I guess we have told, right?
Well, the plywood was sooner or later.
Take.
There is actually, yeah, if you go, like, where are they parked?
Yeah.
Where's that upstairs?
Oh.
Yeah, like she was getting snow.
Enough to make her cramp.
I guess.
PVC planted in 4K. So.
It's in the village, we're actually.
Yeah.
So what's in there from?
They have it in my head. Whatever it'll. That ran a screw right through the bracket. And she was over there and she was like.
I did too.
Yeah.
I too.
And.
I'm surprised that they're still.
I'm like, oh, should have wired it there. I'm talking. What about screws?
Globally, that's
Dragging.
right. Have your beast in the ground.
Yeah. So I'm like, toys, you know, here he goes, and he. That's because it doesn't tell right to the curve.
Hey, you gotta make sure it's working.
Wait, I'm thinking, I'm saying, walk on.
You're through. Yes, thank you. Sorry, you might have just should even fall on down. That's how I know. Yeah, like this, what it for? How do you catch it? You get emotional in the right section here too. Yeah.
You gonna do it? You want me to? Okay,
Make a motion that we reopen open session.
Support.
got a motion to reopen, open session. Any discussion? It's been seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Laura, would you like to read the motions?
Yeah.
Since you got the wording?
Okay, number one, I make a motion that the township investigate mandatory training to all staff in professional conduct in the workplace unless the cost is exorbitant.
Second.
You've heard the motion, been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, we're probably talking about money, so let's do a roll.
Okay. Kyneth,
Yes.
Jarzell,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cameron, yes, Loomis.
Yes, motion passed.
Okay, second, I make a motion that the board retain counsel to assist us with drafting and adopting a policy which contains guidelines for reporting events which employees believe may violate their rights in the workplace and have a subsidiary in the policy for investigating of those concerns.
Support.
You've heard the motion, been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, let's do a roll call because it's consistent money also.
Okay, Jarzell,
Yes.
Kyneth,
Yes.
Cameron, yes, Cook,
Yes.
and Loomis.
Yes, motion passed.
Okay, and.
Good.
Well, one more. And thirdly, I make a motion to authorize Mr. Loomis to sign the release and settlement agreement concerning the Tammy Denter claim.
Support.
You've heard the motion, been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Take care. See y'all.
Aye.
Okay, let's see, the next thing we got is zoning administrators report.
Okay. So at the end of last year, the planning commission was considering modification to the ordinance for recreational vehicles. It's found in section 14.15. Following the planning commission's decision not to modify the ordinance, the board directed me to seek clarification from the Tuscola County Health Department on the requirements for waste disposal. We have now received that guidance from Jerry White, the environmental health director, and I am ready to proceed with his recommendations. Included in your agenda packet should be a board resolution that I am asking the board to take immediate action upon, as well as a proposed ordinance amendment for long-term enforceability of this provision. The recommendation from the environmental health director was that before issuing a permit for any type of recreational vehicle or recreational, recreational vehicle. Sorry, I thought maybe I was using the wrong term. Recreational vehicle are allowed on vacant land for up to 90 days per calendar year. This would also apply for temporary dwellings. That's in accordance with section 14.09. That the township would require the property owner to provide a written description of how sanitary waste will be disposed of during the permit period and to maintain this documentation in the township's permit file. That was a recommendation that was given to me by the environmental health director and therefore drafted into the policy and the subsequent ordinance amendment. I'm not finding anything.
I don't think she put it in here because it was not put on the agenda,
It
so.
was sent to
I
the
see.
supervisor, to the administrative assistant, and blind carbon copy to all the board members on July 29th.
Yeah.
I can give you my copy. I can pull it up.
There it is.
Make a copy of that. Or
Is this a ordinance? Say amendment? Thank you.
second half would be an ordinance amendment.
So that they go through public hearing and
The
stuff?
second half of my report
second half.
would have to go through public hearing for the ordinance amendment. But the first half would be a policy for the board to adopt today, hopefully, so that I can move forward. We do have permits that are pending the outcome of this decision.
Here it is.
You got it?
I got part of it.
Basically,
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
they-
Yeah,
they-
these are the.
right now, what they do,
So,
They need to present that as part of their permit application.
so.
And so long as it
Temporary
seems
dwelling.
feasible, then the permit
Yes,
would be.
I did not. Do that one, so. You. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much. So on the draft policy that's just been passed out, number 1 would be the township board resolution. That's what I would be asking you to pass today. You'll see it gives the history and the sections that would be impacted, and then the final paragraph reads, now therefore be it resolved that the Millington Township Board hereby directs the zoning administrator to require applicants for recreational vehicle storage permits or temporary dwelling permits to provide a written description of how sanitary waste will be disposed of during the permit period, and to maintain this documentation in the township permit file. Part 2, which is on the back side of that page, would be the proposed ordinance amendment. It would amend sections 14.15 as well as section 14.09B. That would be the temporary dwellings and the recreational vehicle permits. So part 2, the board would send on to the planning commission. Part A, the board could approve tonight. Any questions?
Pretty clear.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, I do have a question. I do not love instituting more and additional ordinance and everything else. Is there? If the county deals with this already, if there's violation, is it
The
something?
county does not. So this was the recommendation from the environmental health director. He would be the county entity. He said they don't deal with this, that it's left up to the township to determine that waste is being properly disposed of. And this was his recommendation as to how we might handle that.
So let's say we see a violation, that we get all the health department? Is that what you're?
This doesn't. This language isn't specific to violations. This
Okay.
language is specific to the.
Just a
permit.
resolution.
The permit. So we would add it to the permit, so they would know that they have to take care of
So
this.
when they apply for a permit for either a recreational vehicle to be stored on vacant land for up to 90 days, or for a temporary dwelling, which are those 2 sections that I referenced, when applying for either of those, they would have to include with their application an explanation of how they intend to dispose of their waste.
So they're already filling out the permit. It's just one more question we have to answer.
It's actually not even a question. It would be something that I would tell them in accordance with the ordinance I also have to receive, and then they would submit.
Okay.
Any other questions? Then I think you already have space for that on your action items. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll need to add that to action items. Policy, okay.
Am I okay to
Yep.
move on? Okay. So the other report that I brought to you is a status update on the Tri-County Aggregate Special Land Use Permit. Do you have a copy of these documents?
I don't
No.
think so.
Jack, I don't think Jack put them in the packet. Which ones are those?
Yeah.
Is there anything else I should make copies of?
Do you have the documents? This is later on your
Okay.
agenda, but the documents for New Light?
I do have,
Yes.
I do
Okay.
have that one. System right here.
Did the zoning permits and complaint file make it into your agenda packet?
Yes,
I
Zone,
think
yeah.
they did.
yep, at number 434.
So the documents that the clerk is making copies of for you now were submitted on August 13th. So did they not get included in the packet because there was confusion about whether or not I was presenting tonight?
Yeah, it wasn't put on the agenda, so there was confusion about that. Yes.
In the future, it would be nice if someone thought I wasn't going to present, if they communicated that to me, or maybe asked about the timeliness of the things that I had planned on presenting.
Yeah,
Well, it was on the agenda and like I say, time wise, we took it off.
But that wasn't communicated to me. I found out about that tonight.
Okay.
yeah, two-way communication
We,
is better.
we gotta get better at it.
He said,
Thank you. So I provided a little bit of background in chronological order. December 2nd, 2005, Tri-County Aggregate Special Land Use Permit for quarrying was initially approved. May 10th, 2007, the Associated Cedar Lakes Estate Site Plan was approved. October 10th, 2012, an approval of a 10-year extension was granted. August 12th, 2024, the Planning Commission renewed the Special Land Use Permit and Site Plan as presented. February 10th, 2025, the Planning Commission approved a reclamation plan with the condition that the reclamation plan be turned into the Planning Commission August 11th, 2025. February 17th, 2025, the Township Board voted to send the Planning Commission decision to the ZBA for review. June 18th, 2025, the Zoning Board of Appeals reversed the Planning Commission's approval of the reclamation plan, finding that the application was incomplete, that the Commission failed to distinguish between a site plan and a reclamation plan, that the submitted plan did not meet the requirements of section 5.03, and clarifying that the 2007 plan had expired under the section 1706 of the current ordinance. Following the Zoning Board of Appeals ruling, it was confirmed by our attorney that before the Tri-County Aggregate Special Land Use Permit may be considered valid, Tri-County Aggregate must submit both a site plan and a reclamation plan that meets all current ordinance standards. The township's authority to require full compliance is clear and enforceable. Documentation for this purpose was received from Tri-County Aggregate on August 1st and is awaiting review. A comprehensive quarrying special land use permit application checklist has been developed and reviewed by the township attorney. I did not give you a copy of that checklist, although it was included in the email. Would you like a hard copy to have in front of you? I will have the right here.
I have the checklist here.
Is that just something you have? Or-
I printed it off from what she gave.
yeah, we all looked at it at home.
If you want to review it at all.
That's all right. I think she's making copies.
Okay.
A comprehensive quarrying special land use application checklist has been developed and reviewed by the township attorney, who confirmed on August 11th that it is appropriate tool for determining administrative completeness. The zoning administrator is to make the initial completeness determination, after which a qualified planner or engineer should conduct the technical review of the reclamation plan. All technical review costs are to be covered by the applicant through an escrow account size to the anticipated scope of the. Before I could bring that to you for approval on both the checklist as well as getting approval to send it to the engineer, the Planning Commission voted on July 14th to modify the 2024 special land use permit issued to Tri-County Aggregate. That was despite advisement that the permit is compromised because it lacks an approved reclamation plan. Some notable issues from that July 14th meeting. Several Planning Commission members stated that Tri-County Aggregate should not have to comply with ordinance provisions that were adopted after its inception. This position is contrary to the ZBOA ruling, the ordinance renewal provisions, and legal counsel's advice. Some Planning Commission members suggested that the Planning Commission could waive certain mandatory compliance requirements for renewal. The Township Attorney has confirmed that conditions required by ordinance cannot be waived. The motion adopted on July 14th did remove protective conditions M through Q from section 5.03, which are mandatory safeguards for the township and adjoining property owners. The Township Attorney has confirmed that despite the Planning Commission's action taken to modify this permit and removal of these provisions, the property owner is in fact still subject to them. Additional language changes adopted in the modification, for instance, the use of the word obtaining versus maintaining requiring permits, could in fact create legal vulnerabilities for the township. I have 3 recommended motions for the board to consider. Motion number 1, I ask the board to pass a motion directing the zoning administrator to use the approved quarrying special land use application checklist to determine administrative completeness. That we establish an escrow account to cover professional review costs, and that upon receipt of those escrows, engage necessary consultants to complete the technical review. That is the recommendation from our township attorney. I am qualified to go through the checklist and assert completeness of the application. I am not qualified to give a technical overview of whether or not that reclamation plan meets the ordinance requirements. So that is something that I would need to engage another person or entity to do, and that would have a cost associated to it. That's the reason for setting up the escrow, is to cover those costs. But that's a new process for us, and so I'm bringing that to the board for approval. Motion 2. I urge the board to pass a motion recommending that the Planning Commission rescind its July 14th, 2025 motion modifying the Tri-County Aggregate Special Land Use Permit. Reconsider the Special Land Use Permit using the approved quarrying Special Land Use Permit application checklist and the results of the technical review. Ensure, consistent with the ZBOA decision and Township's legal counsel guidance, that the special land use permit, site plan, and reclamation plan all fully comply with current ordinance requirements. And conduct a properly noticed public hearing prior to adopting any future special land use permit modifications. Finally, motion 3. Pursuant to section 3.01, I, as your zoning administrator, am responsible for the administration and enforcement of the zoning ordinance. In fulfilling that role, I have identified and begun documenting several concerns involving potential violations of ordinance procedures, legal standards, and statutory requirements. These involve the fall special land use permit process, the short-term rental ordinance amendment, the issuance of short-term rental special land use permits, the Tri-County Aggregate Special Land Use Permit and Required Reclamation Plan, the Tri-County Aggregates Material for Resale Special Land Use Permit, a broader pattern of disregard for required special land use procedures, disregard of legal advice provided by our attorney to the Planning Commission, and potential violations of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Side note, I showed up to the Planning Commission meeting this last one late, I wasn't even aware of the public comments that you would hear today, although they certainly fall into this. During the July 14th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting, additional ordinance violations became clearly apparent and were even acknowledged on record. I had sincerely hoped that considering the recent series of appeals filed over the Commission's prior action, we would begin to see a more proactive and conscientious approach to ordinance enforcement. It is therefore deeply disheartening to find that these patterns persist. In accordance with section 16.01 of the Township's zoning ordinance, the Township Board has the authority to remove Planning Commission members for misfeasance, malfeasance, and nonfeasance in office. Such action requires written charges which clearly state a factual basis for removal and ensure that any person subject to removal is afforded full due process, including notice of the charges and an opportunity to present a defense with or without legal counsel. Such charges are to be brought before the board for approval with a public hearing scheduled in accordance with our ordinance requirements. Given the July 14th meeting record, which I'm hopeful everyone has watched by now, where certain members acted in direct contradiction to the ZBOA ruling, ordinance requirements, and legal counsel's guidance, in addition to the multitude of prior potential violations, I recommend the board authorize the zoning administrator in consultation with the township attorney to draft written charges against any planning commission member whose actions may constitute misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance in office as defined under our township ordinance. Any questions?
Well, I have a real problem with this, if people's not here to represent themselves.
Representing themselves would take place during the hearing.
Yeah. They've been told at meetings, we've tried to make it very clear. I pointed it out because I'm in the mailing area. They tend to discredit anything I say, even when what I'm referring to is the ordinance itself or a lawyer's opinion. It has dragged, this has happened through so many meetings. I'm very disheartened myself. And not just on the one permit, many permits. It's time to
Well,
take action.
I remember a few months ago that they came and proved that they could change the special land use permits.
But they were
told
they said they were proving it, but they were in error. And when we pointed out their errors,
I feel like all of that.
they weren't
would come
happy.
out in the investigation.
Yeah.
Whether or not that was permissible or not permissible.
Well, we have had many people from our community that have been at meetings express that they want something done to make sure things are done appropriately to the ordinances. And if we have the proof that things aren't done right, then we need to look into that. We need to listen to the people of the community and make note and try to do the right thing.
Have the lawyer look into it, and
If the lawyer reviews the documents and finds that there's
there's
not
no,
a factual basis, then
then
we
it-
move on and that's been addressed and everyone knows that that's the case.
They're gonna review the July 14th meeting.
So the July 14th meeting would be inclusive of all of the things that are listed within the bullets that I gave you on page 2. Excuse me, page 3. Because these violations have been historical. Alleged violations have been historic.
Well, and if they've done it right, then it's gonna come back that they've done it right. And
then I'm happy to stand for it.
but if they aren't doing it right, that holds us accountable too.
Sure.
It was
I'm not sure how I think about it.
deeply concerning, the comments that were made by specific planning commission members during that July 14th meeting. I think that's the catalyst that pushed us over the top, pushed me, in fact, over the top, because I had a very direct dialogue with one of the planning commission members, and he was quite insistent that the planning commission was able to waive whatever portions of our ordinance they deemed necessary to waive. And that was alarming.
She did. She was very thorough in her questions and very careful and clear on what she was asking him, and his answers were just as clear back to her.
Because at the end of the day, the ordinances are what we have to go by. That's,
If there's no other questions, then I ask that you put these three things down, these three motions as actionable items.
okay.
The first two are necessary in order for me to progress the tri-county aggregate special use permit. They would also be impactful of some of the other things that the township board has asked me to investigate relative to other permits for pouring of material. Thank you.
Copy of those three motions.
There,
So-
we got them.
You have.
Oh.
It's the one. This is the front page.
So you're saying you didn't get
I
a
was
site
listed
plan
for-
or reclamation plan a couple weeks ago from Bob Gilling?
It was incomplete when I received it. I believe that it was a two-sided document and I only received one side of the two-sided document. So I reached out to Mr. Gilling and he gave me a complete copy on, what did I say, August 11th.
And it wasn't what you needed.
I can't determine if it's what I needed. That's the reason that I'm asking you to utilize the checklist to assess the completeness of that reclamation plan. And the second part of that motion is to then send it to someone who would be qualified to assess the technical aspects of that.
That's
Those
what,
technical aspects of a reclamation plan, I would have no idea.
that's what she's asking in motion
Just
one.
for quarries.
Just for pouring, yep, very specific to pouring special land use permits. If you take a look at our ordinance, it's section 5.03 and it's like 6, maybe 7 pages long. Of very technical requirements that are what a pouring would need, and it talks about slope and grading, and I don't have any idea. I'm not an engineer, so I can't assess those. That's something that we would need to hire a firm or an engineer to assess. And that has a cost associated to it. That cost would be borne by the property owner if it's included in their escrow. But because this is not a process that I think our township, I've never gone through this process. I don't think our township has ever gone through this process. I feel like I'm constantly striving to improve our processes, and this would be part of that. This would be a way to improve the pouring special land use process. Any other questions?
We need to vote to add it to the action item list. What do you guys think?
And we can,
I think you made room for it at the beginning of the meeting.
Yep.
so,
So action number 8 then?
yeah, well, 7 would be the, recreational vehicle waste. 8 would be the admin completeness. And then number 9 would be,
The recommendation for the
The
planning
planning
commission.
commission.
And 10 would be potential removal proceedings.
Okay. Old business, section 14.11 prohibited structures ordinance amendment.
Yep, that's in your packet for you to review. The main thing is we took out the truck bodies. We just removed the semi trucks. Bodies and allow the cargo containers, so in everywhere, so the new way that it'll read is there right in section 2, the phrase semi-trailer, truck body or other body vehicle or similar item in quotations currently in there will be removed. because it would be an enforcement nightmare if we actually followed our ordinances on that. And the new subsection will be, shall be added to read as follows: semi-trailers, truck bodies, or other motor vehicle bodies or similar structures are allowable structures in all zoning districts except lake residential and mobile home park. And section 1411 of Millington Township Ordinance is amended to read, and then it includes those that you have in front of you there.
Luann, I didn't see nothing about setbacks or
They would have
being
to,
in the front yard or anything like
they would
that.
still have to comply with all that, which is already in our ordinance.
But what I'm saying about these being, let's say, a shipping container in the front yard.
It's not allowed. They're in the backyard. They have to be
what
off
did-
the
does that
sides.
say here?
Subject to the setback requirements that are already found in our ordinance under section 12.
So we didn't have to mention again. It just follows with the rest of the ordinance. This is specific to that section, 14.11.
So that just changed the wording as to allow them, basically.
Yes. And that will, we're having a special, the hearing for it, the public hearing on it in September. This is so you guys know what the hearing will be about.
Okay. So that's nothing we have to vote on.
Nope, just
Okay.
letting you
That's all
know,
we got.
filling you in.
Okay, number 5, selling its Walker Road property. Anybody give it any more thought on if we're wanting to sell it? My thoughts are is we don't really need the money right now, hang on to it, but that's only my thoughts.
I agree with that.
I'm fine with that. Someone came in and gave us an offer that we could consider it at that point, but at this point.
Well, I think personally, I think if we decide to sell it, we probably need to put it out for bids.
Right.
I know what it's worth.
Good
That way
idea.
somebody can't say, well, you didn't tell me about it or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, number 6, review revised draft policy of quasi judicial proceedings.
We got back from the attorney. The red is what we crossed off, and you can see it's crossed off for what's new. And then if you go to there's a third page in there, I talked to him because it's my first question. And the reason I sent it over. It's Article C, the no undue presence. I did not agree with that and I voiced that. So after, well, actually, this is the email that I sent you guys after dialogue with our attorney. He agreed that we could bring, or we could update Article C. So it's going to now be saying members may attend ZBO meetings, but it is recommended that they should not engage in discussion, advocacy, or non-neutral conduct. So
So it's just recommended.
well, it's members may attend, but it is recommended, yes. So you can see exactly, so C will be crossed off and that the quotation marks from the email will be what it actually would be.
So I got 2 emails I'd like to present to the record. That is from Gordon Love. It says if they want to speak, they are speaking as a resident of Millington Township at public comment. And also, I got an opinion from MTA, and it says in terms of speaking at public comment, there's nothing prohibits a board member from getting up from the table and attending another board meeting and give public comment on a matter of personal resident interest. And I felt, like I said before, it's a violation of my civil rights. Or I should say my constitutional rights. I want that recorded also. Any other discussion on that? Number 7, new light conditional rezoning agreement.
So I confirmed earlier that you all do have a copy of the documents related to this. Okay. So on August 11th, 2025, the Millington Township Planning Commission voted to recommend the approval of proposed conditional rezoning agreement for the property located at 5397 Millington Road, Millington, Michigan, submitted by New Light Child and Family Institute. The agreement, if adopted, will rezone the property from agricultural residential to commercial, subject to voluntary and binding conditions, bringing the parcel into compliance with township zoning regulations while ensuring compatibility with surrounding land use. The planning commission's recommendation was based on findings that the proposal meets the applicable requirements of Article 17 site plan review, Section 10.03 greenbelts, Article 13 parking and loading requirements, Section 14.06 I signs, Section 14.17 fences, and Article 21 conditional rezoning agreement standards. The agreement includes includes conditions limiting use to a counseling center and related services, compliance with the dimensional standards, and termination reversion clauses consistent with the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act and Article 21 of the Millington Township zoning ordinance. It is my recommendation that the Planning Commission's August 11th, 2025 recommendation be upheld, and I urge the Township Board to act tonight to adopt the conditional rezoning agreement by ordinance amendment as is required under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act and Article 21 of the Millington Township zoning ordinance. You do have as part of your agenda packet the Millington Township ordinance amendment, as well as the conditional rezoning agreement. If the board votes to adopt this, then both of those documents would be signed with the property owner, who is in fact here in our audience. It would make a copy for township records, and then this matter would be resolved. Any questions? All right.
Okay, number 8, review the special land use per annual review draft policy.
That would be me. So I did a little bit of a change. I also sent the changes to Alvin Zavitz. I emailed him, and I also sent him a message that please look at your email. I thought he might come to this meeting. From what I understood, and I might be wrong, was that their biggest concern was having to look up all the old permits and have to find out where they were and to review, and it would take a lot of time. So I added into this policy requiring annual review of special land use permits to have it issued for the permits issued under the Millington Township zoning ordinance from September 1st, 2024 forward. So that would mean that they would review the ones that they have been giving, and they would also be able to, then if somebody had complaints against the special land use permit, then that would be in a review, and then that could go on the yearly calendar if there was issues they had to address. But with this, they're actually reviewing the ones that they have done. They'll be aware of what they are, they'll know the content, and it should be pretty basic and pretty not time consuming. If they did it right in the first place, they should just be able to review it and move on. So, like I said, I was hoping somebody from the planning commission might be here so I could get their input to see if this was a good compromise.
Alvin had mentioned at our meeting that this would be brought up, and he encouraged them all to attend,
Okay.
but I don't see any of them here.
Is there any questions or any input from any other board members?
One thing they need to understand, and some of them were a little confused on this too, it isn't to review and redo. It's to review for compliance. If everything is being met, everything matches, we're done. It's not a redo. And some of them were worried that they had to redo the permits every year, and that's clearly not the intention.
I think there was some confusion that it would require a public hearing, and your reviews would also not
Yeah.
require a public hearing. It would be just an agenda item. And I think if I understand correctly, it's just from September 1st, 2000. So next month, September meeting, they would review whatever permits they issued in the September before. So
Yeah.
it would be on an annual
Roll over.
rotation going forward, right?
Right.
Just making sure I understood, because I would be putting those files together to review.
And is it something that, I mean, I feel like it should be as non-invasive as possible. If you pull up a special land use permit, and those complaints have been filed or anything, can they just, I guess I'm asking more like.
So I did contact MTA. And she sent me some reviewing, MTA reviewing, and I did email that to all of you. And actually it's in here too. Right, township planning and zoning decision making. And it goes into the review of it. But I talked to Shelley Schneider and she said, here is some information on special land use permits and a little about reviewing them. Those special land use permits typically follows the land, which Robert had told us, which she verified as well, not the owner. So if the property is sold and still being used for the same approved purpose, the new permit would not be needed. If you're looking at reviewing past permits to make sure no changes have been made to use that is something the board can do in conjunction with the planning commission, zoning administrator, and enforcement officer. And I would also recommend possibly looping in the township attorney. So, and she just goes on, the unique character of some uses of their potential to adversely affect their surroundings may require additional scrutiny, even when those uses are generally viewed as acceptable within the character of the district, but only in certain locations. This scrutiny is provided through a special land use process that allows zoning districts to have uses that are permitted only at the discretion of the approving body. So, she gives an example after that. So that was her, she said, with the issues that we have at hand, it's not something that is normally done, but with the issues we have at hand and the lawsuits pending and things like that, it could be a good idea if the board thought so. So it's up to the board if they want to. Okay. And put that
I
in
don't
there.
like the actual reviewing part of it. I mean, how about just acknowledging that it's there? Is I would say, all right, but if we're gonna review everything that they're doing,
We're not going to, they're going to.
right, but then if they're reviewing what they're doing, then they can go ahead and make changes if they don't like what they're doing.
So would you want to just say,
So just for clarification, they aren't authorized to make changes absent a public hearing. So they wouldn't be allowed under Michigan law to change the permits during the review process. If they conduct a review and then determine that a review is, or excuse me, that a change is justified, they would then have to schedule a public hearing in order to initiate that change.
what?
Just want to be clear.
What if we said is something more like policy requiring annual review of special land use permits to determine compliance?
Because that's what it's for.
Then you're just making sure they're doing everything that are compliant with the permit that they were issued.
I think I understand what Jerry's saying. I see his point of view. This is more for us. I mean, as boards, we need to be aware of what's still out there.
Okay.
But I understand completely. If there's some way to get something like that together, like the planning commission just needs to, maybe even they need to go through and just, okay, these are the permits that we have open, just so they're aware that they're open. Is that?
Yeah,
I think that's what you're talking about.
just all your thoughts.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I thought this was, but
So it falls to your zoning administrator to prepare those files. So the way I'm envisioning it, and this is helpful because you can correct me if I'm misunderstanding. Jackie, as your administrative assistant, would know what's on that revolving schedule. So she would know what to put on the agenda for September based on last year's September special land use permits. I would get a list of those and I would go through those files. And if there's issues relative to compliance or excessive complaints, or if there's been a change in ownership, or I don't know, I can't anticipate what might be there, I would bring those to that meeting. If nothing's changed and everything's looks great, then I think that would be the extent of that review. Look, this permit is in compliance. Move on.
yep. That's,
Unless I'm misunderstanding the.
that was my understanding. And then if there's a problem, then we take the steps after that to address it. It wouldn't be done at that meeting.
Right.
And then in October, we review whatever had been approved in October. If there was nothing approved
And
the
this
previous year.
constant loop of everything from 2024 is gonna be reviewed in 20.
Going forward, I think it
mhm.
is.
Yeah.
The concern that was expressed by the planning commission was that and as a township, what prompted this to begin with is, I don't know what special land use permits are out there. I literally have no idea. And I think as a township, that's concerning, and we need to do a better job of tracking these things. And I think by putting this in a rotation and having them reviewed annually is one way. There might be other ways, but this would be one way to do better.
And it'll help the office to be organized with them so they don't get lost in the shuffle, like from previous years that we don't know where they are. So it's a step in the right direction. Maybe after a while, we won't need an annual review. It can go to semi or, every 2 years or something. But we first need to learn how to do it right and get the order down.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that it's us learning how to do the job correctly and that we're not trying to penalize people for having special land use.
No.
No, not at all.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay,
And the great majority of them are gonna be just rolling down the hill because they follow their permit. They know what they gotta do and they will follow it.
My only concern is the complaint tone. I mean, we all know living with neighbors is not always perfect, and especially I'm most concerned about the Murphy Lake area. That people are just gonna call and complain, and I mean, if there's no basis. I just don't want it to be, okay, we had a call about this, but. even
But
if
there's
it's-
multiple levels to ensure that the complaint is warranted. So the complaint comes to the office, I receive it, an investigation is conducted. If there's merit to the complaint, then I follow up on that with the property owner. If there's not merit to the complaint, then it's dismissed. If there is merit to the complaint, then the property owner has an option or an opportunity to take corrective action. If they take corrective action, then the case is dismissed. If they don't take corrective action, or if the complaints persist, well, then that would be something that would then be brought to the planning commission, and the planning commission would then have the option to decide if that was something that they wanted to take action on. So I feel like there's multiple levels of safeguard,
Okay.
before anyone's permit gets modified.
okay, is there any second public comment? Okay, action item, sir, heating and cooling annual maintenance agreement. I make a motion, we go to 2 year for $149.
Support?
There's been a motion to accept the SIR maintenance agreement for $149 for 2 years. Been supported. Is there any discussion?
I believe that's for each year, correct?
Yes, yes, for each year, I'm sorry. So it'd be what,
24?
258, 98, $298. Is there any further discussion? Laura, you need a roll call, please?
Hynek,
Yes.
Jarzell,
Yes.
Yes.
Cameron, yes, Luna,
Yes. Okay, motion passed. Number 3, selling of Swapper Road property.
Just leave it at risk, can we?
Yep.
so.
So we can just make a motion to not do anything with it, or just
We don't even need a motion. We
Okay.
just let it lie.
draft policy of quasi judicial proceedings.
I make a motion, we adopt the draft policy that was presented with the quasi judicial proceedings with the corrections that Laura presented.
Support?
Heard the motion been supported. Is there any discussion? Now, Laura, need a roll call, please?
Hynek,
Yes.
Jarzell,
Yes.
Yep.
Cameron, yes, Luna,
No. Motion passed.
Just a point of order, we do have a ZBOA meeting on Wednesday. Is it possible to have this policy communicated to all township officials prior to Wednesday?
yeah.
Thank you.
Number 5, new light conditional rezoning agreement.
I move that we follow the planning commission recommendation to approve the proposed conditional rezoning agreement for the property located at 5397 Millington Road, Millington, parcel ID 017-017-000-1600-00 that was submitted by New Light Child and Family Institute as it meets all applicable requirements of our Millington Township ordinance.
Very well drafted.
Can I get a copy of?
Sure.
I'll second it.
You've heard the motion been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed. Draft policy, special land use for an annual review.
I make a motion that we direct our zoning administrator to use the approved quarrying special land use permit application.
I don't think that's
I don't
the one.
think that's-
That's not the
The
right.
recreational vehicle is the next one.
No,
Oh, miss
this
number
is,
7.
no, this is the,
No, number 5 we're at,
Number
Where?
6.
it's about,
or I'm sorry, 6.
it's the review of the
Draft
special land,
policy, special land use.
special land use
annual review.
permit annual review.
Oh,
How come that's in number stuff?
Cause you crossed out number 3.
Sure. And
Okay,
number 2 and 3.
Can't find that. I just had the paperwork, you know.
Number 8.
Oh, thank you. I make a motion to adopt the policy requiring annual review of special land use permits to determine compliance as presented.
support.
You've heard the motion been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed.
Sharon, did you write that down? Should have made it.
Yes. I'll get it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, number 7, recreational vehicle waste. Draft policy. I think all we can do is the township board resolution.
Yes. The second half goes. But the board can certainly make a recommendation to the planning commission to pass that zoning ordinance amendment.
What do we need? Motion to accept them?
Motion to approve the draft.
Township board resolution. I'll make a motion, we adopt the recreational vehicle waste disposal requirement, the township board resolution.
Support.
You've heard the motion been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed.
Is Luann authorized on behalf of the board to bring the ordinance amendment that goes along with this resolution to the planning commission?
She's a representative for the
I
planning
just want to
commission.
make sure that she has the support of the board to do so.
So that's number 2 on that thing. Is that a motion we have to make, or should just take it?
You could make a recommendation. As the-
I could volunteer to do it. I'll do it. As long as it's okay with you folks.
Okay, let me see, where were we at?
Number 8.
Number 8, motion number 1. Okay, that's fine, motion.
It's the,
Yeah, the back here.
Yeah.
Administrative completeness, escrow and technical review.
I move that we direct the zoning administrator to use the approved quarrying special land use application checklist for administrative completeness, establish an escrow account to cover the professional review costs, and upon receipt of the escrow, engage the necessary consultants to complete the review as recommended by our township attorney.
I'll second it.
You've heard the motion, been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, do we need a roll call?
It does involve money.
I think you better do a roll call.
Cook,
Yes.
Cameron, yes. Hynek,
yes,
Zell,
Yes,
Loomis.
Yes. Motion number 2, direction to planning commission.
Just basically want to ask them to rescind its July 14th, 2025 motion modifying the tri-county aggregate special land use permit.
So the attorney was very clear that the board cannot direct the planning commission, but that they can recommend to the planning commission specific actions. So this motion would be to recommend that as an action.
And was the attorney, so I know we had said, that the board, the planning commission was notified that it was not recommended. That they moved that.
I make a motion that we recommend to the planning commission to rescind its July 14th, 2025 motion modifying the tri-county aggregate special land use permit and to reconsider the special land use using the approved quarrying special land use permit application checklist and the results of all technical reviews. And that's also consistent with the CBOA decision and the township legal counsel guidance.
support.
You've heard the motion, been supported. Is there any discussion? Now, Laura, need a roll call, please?
Kind of,
Yes.
Jarzell,
As I am in the mailing area for this particular permit, I will abstain.
Book,
Yes.
Cameron. Yes. Loomis,
No. Motion passed. Okay, number 3, motion number 3, removal proceeding.
I have kind of been in the middle of all this on both sides, and I've got my own concerns and troubles. So I make a motion that we
I don't
recommend,
think you can make a motion because you serve on the board.
okay,
You would be
Conflict of
subject-
interest.
I do have a lot of concerns of things being done, not according to the ordinances, and even listening to the meeting of blatantly admitting that they don't have to follow the ordinances, and that's very concerning.
I have a problem because we talked about anybody that's on the agenda, they should be here to defend themselves. And I think they should have been notified to defend themselves.
But this isn't actually, this is basically giving the zoning administrator the ability to research to see if there's anything that could be brought up that would require a hearing, and at the hearing, they would have their due diligence to be able to defend themselves, because this isn't actually accusations as much as giving the zoning administrator the ability to research and investigate and to put any information together.
Is it a zoning administrator job to?
it says
Yes.
right here, that's a
Okay.
recommendation that the board authorize the zoning administrator in consultation with the township attorney. To draft written charges against any planning commission member whose actions may constitute misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance in office as defined under our township ordinance. So I it is very hard for me to speak out against anyone. Number one, I would never want it done against you, but at the same time, insanity, literally, the definition is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I've been watching these meetings for the last year, and I've seen no change. So I will make a motion that we authorize Tammy, along with our township attorney to go ahead and draft written charges against any planning commission member whose actions may constitute what I just read.
So just to add some clarification, the motion reads any planning commission member whose actions, so there isn't any specific person that would be called here to defend themselves, because at this point, I'm just going to be providing a copy of the record to the township attorney to review. And the township attorney will make the determination as to who would be identified.
I support your motion.
You've heard the motion, been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, Laura, need a roll call, please?
Kaina,
Yes.
Charzell abstains, correct?
Yes, abstain.
Cameron is yes. Cool.
Yes.
Loomis,
No. Motion passed. Okay, supervisors report. Still doing a lot of splits and combination. August 23rd, we got music in the park again with food trucks. I was asked if we would be interested in repaving the parking lot, because they're gonna do the big parking lot across Center Street. And the village is gonna do their parking lot over here. And I didn't know if anybody was interested or not. I don't think it's that bad a shape yet, but if we wanted to do it, we could do it. Road work and inquiries. I've had a lot of people with, well, since we've had the heavy rain, some washouts and stuff, and working with the road commission on that. And been also investigating the road work that we paid for this year, and it looks like they did a good job. That's all I've got.
The bike meeting went well this month. They got new plaques made that will be put at the kiosks at each end, thanking the Frankenmuth Credit Union for the grant and support. And they're real nice plaques, about 8x10 size, gold, very nice. Because that grant enabled us to finish our asphalt work and get rid of the ruts through there, which we've been dealing with for several years, and finally got the money at the same time we had the proper bid. They're going to apply to a Tuscola County Foundation for a grant for future work, for bridge work mostly. The small bridge is giving us a lot of troubles.
Not much new at the fire department. We're all good. They're getting bids for epoxying the floor on the hole where the trucks go. That's what's on their agenda right now. That's about it.
Well, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Support. Been a motion to adjourn, been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed.
Laura, are you able to say after the meeting to finalize exact to be like? Get them far away. Come to away.
Okay, now we're.
Yeah.
It says I have.
I know.
Sure. So. So. Say, say anywhere on here, I have to end Zoom.
Sure.
Jerry, if I take yours.
Might have to look on that one.
Jerry, does it look like I got it all? It says something on here in Zoom.
Excellent. Yeah, and right there. Go ahead.
There it is.